tudo bem? Hoje é quarta-feira, 26 de setembro, and we're gonna take advantage of the 6 a.m. low tide to take a very short beach walk north of here to a beach called Praia de Amor, and there's a very specific rock formation called Hold Rock. There's a similar rock like that in Jericoacoara. This one is a little bit smaller, but it's neat. Praia de Amor is it is a full-service beach. They have tables and chairs and things. You'll see some fishing, jangadas and boats and things there. Another interesting rock formation as you get more north too. So that's probably Praia de Amor. Really kind of starts the whole Costa do Conde beach circuit. Is really the first big beach. Then you're here in Praia de Jacumã, then you're in Tabatinga II, Pequerinos, Tambaba, all those, Arapuca as well, Praia de Arapuca. So this is kind of where it starts. So we're going to walk up there because the tide allows me to this morning. At high tide, you just can't see the rock. Also, too, because the tide is so low, the tide is so early, there's probably not going to be many tourists there. The last time I was there was just a bunch of tourists taking selfies. So with the early tide, hopefully that's not the case. Anyway, we'll check back when we get to Praia de Jacumã. All right, that's it. This is Posada Filha do Sol, owner change. Cranky beach dog this morning, probably wants his breakfast. But this is one of the main entrances to Praia de Jacumã. There's another entrance near the Praça as well, too. But this is a pretty common entrance. They've got tables and chairs and things set up here during the day. Grab my sandals. Should have brought a bag for these. Oh well. Very picturesque, very nice. Low tide. Okay. You can see the Praça from here, not too far away. It's why I like staying in this location. Again, traffic is kind of shitty in this area. It's better down south, but even just a few kilometers south, there's just no services. So it's kind of a trade-off between traffic and services, really. I guess that's probably true anywhere. All right, let's check that. So looking through that gap, actually can see where I was just 10 minutes ago, looking off of the veranda up there. So really no direct beach access, obviously, unless you brought a ladder with you anyway. And this is Praça de Jacumã. This is where we walked yesterday. There's a couple new restaurants, some food vendors and things. It looks like they've got all their chairs prepped for the day's beach goers to enjoy. They're doing something, I don't know. This looks new to me, this sand. Maybe some improvements. I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure. Well, yeah, again, new construction. I've passed 3 or 4 other new projects as large as that already. So the construction boom is occurring here as well, too. I'm not surprised. This is the first time I've ever walked this beach at low tide. I remember many times walking this beach at high tide and trying to get back in a hurry because I was going to get cut off. All right, upon approach, at first I thought it was broken, but this is it. The Hold Stone or Love Beach. They set up a little doorway to take a selfie. That's new this year. So seja bem-vindo, Pedra Furada da Praia do Amor, Costa do Conde. This stop is on all of the tourist stops. And again, just tiny little thing. They've got a great big one in Jericoacoara. This is a mini version of the Jericoacoara Hold Stone. But you know, it's a thing. If you're here, come see it. I'll probably take a selfie up there, but yeah, it's a rock formation with a hole in it. Well, actually, old coral formation. Anyway, we'll take some pictures and check back. All right, that's it. In the United States, there are people who would complain this is not handicap accessible. Oh well, sorry about that. You can't always get what you want. That's a beautiful, stunning scenery, eh? Some jangadas, Falésias de Jacumã. There is an outlook up there. And this is ready, or will be ready later on, for the beachgoers. People sleeping in there. I remember this from last year. Nice beach area here even at high tide, although once you get beyond here, it reduces your access. Really large grained size sand here. No shells, a few rocks. Really nice place to take a swim. Super calm waves. At high tide, that's not accessible, and you can see the water kind of going back and forth. I recall that these being, seeing crab and lobster traps here. And then there's, I forget the name, there's a small river down here as well. And a few jangadas out there. Some rock outcrops. And they've got a number of buoys there to probably indicate where they are. Big houses and residential apartments on the cliff. Big, wide, flat area. All this is underwater in a few hours. This is the remainder of that little river. I recall not being able to cross this the last time I was here. At some marker, some rock outcrops. Beautiful coastline. I think I can see some more umbrellas and chairs in the distance. You know what? I wonder if that's the airport. That could be the airport, because I know that's kind of on the edge of Chapassoa. Interesting little formations up. Oh, there's a little spit inside of there. Nice little cliffs here. Nice little cliffs. All right, we'll call it good. It's a quick moving little, more of a creek or a stream than a river. All right, and just like that, we're back on our way. We're back on our way. I have no idea the kinds of fish they catch out of here. But I do know there's a fisherman in Lucerna looking for me this morning, because I told him to come back today. And we're not there. Oops. Sorry, dude. But my stomach, as much as I love fish, I just wasn't ready for it at 6:30 in the morning. Well, the plan today is to head back to Tambaba, and after that we'll see. At some point we'll make a trip to the overlooks the Maranches of Costa de Candy here. But today will be Tambaba, and not sure about where we're going to eat tonight. We'll play that by ear. We'll see. Mornings are always quiet here. Oh no, the mermaid. She probably needs to see a doctor. It appears market's not quite open. It's just past 7, so they probably open at 8-ish. Mais ou menos. Bom dia. Hoje é sexta-feira, 27 de setembro. And it looks like here I've got my time lapse set up. Looks like we've got just a small little cell of rain. Doesn't even show up on the radar, but you can see it's just pouring out there. They're not uncommon. They're not frequent, but they're not uncommon. I experienced it 2 days ago in Jacumã. The moon is out nice as well. But yeah, they're very sporadic, but they're not uncommon. They don't last long. Generally aren't very heavy, but that one maybe is moving to the northwest. Things have a tendency to move to the northwest here, so we'll see. Anyway, nice morning. We'll hit Tambaba again. Today is our last full day here in Jacumã before we head to Pitambo for my first time. I'm anxious to explore that city. Quote unquote. I have a feeling it will be more similar to Lucerna than it will be to Jacumã, but we'll see. We will see. All right, we'll check back next video. Well, and just like that, it's done. Lasted about 5 minutes. A lot of it has drifted off. You can see some really dark clouds, but again, they're not going to stick around long. I had to stop my time lapse, sadly, but yeah, not uncommon. And then they're just kind of gone. Beautiful sun poking through the clouds there. To the south looks maybe a little more clear, but yeah, just enough to get things wet, not really to water anything necessarily. So yeah. Right. Not too much here has changed in Residencial Terramar. Stayed here last year. I definitely would come back. Parking's a little funky. The gate no longer works. You have to move it back and forth manually. It's quite heavy, and I actually broke it. I was able to fix it with the help of one of the neighbors. It came off the track because I just pulled it too hard. And it looks like there's some really dark clouds back there. Hopefully most of the rain has passed. So we took a short beach walk up to Praia de Amor yesterday. This morning we're going to walk south just a little bit, about the same distance, maybe just over a mile, to a beach called Praia de Carapibus, which is just north of Praia de Tabatinga, Praia de Tabatinga, and then Tabatinga II. They actually named 2 beaches after that. So we'll check back when we hit the beach. All right, that's it. At our usual spot of Posada Filha do Sol, I think it's called. It used to be, I forget the name. Anyway, unusual starting spot, except this morning, we're gonna walk south, really just around that bend. We're about 15 minutes from low tide, which is great timing. Otherwise, it gets a little tight up here, right? Especially right around this bend. During high tide, you can't actually walk this way because you're cut off right here. Beautiful view. Clouds went away. I saw a couple of walkers yesterday. But yeah, all right, here we go. All right, I've only been walking about 5 minutes or so, and I don't remember this from last year. Did something fall? Did something happen? What the hell? I don't remember this at all from last year. I remember just kind of walking right by. Maybe not, but wow, what a mess. All right, I gotta navigate through this. Jesus. Okay, here we go. Get through there, but as you can see, at high tide, looks like a lot of these seawalls just collapsed, but water comes right up here, and so obviously this is just being severely eroded, regardless of whether or not there's any vegetation up there. This is not a good sign, and you can see up here as well too. This is pretty tight. I mean, it's low tide. I don't know that I can make it there even at low tide. I left at a really good time. This is much tighter than what I remember. Maybe there must have been some pretty severe erosion, maybe storms even, I'm not sure, but boy, anyone located around here, they're in a very precarious position. Yes, someone had built in like an outdoor churrascaria, an outdoor oven, and I see the remnants of it. This isn't even really rock, it's very light, granular, loose sandstone. This is sketchy. This whole thing is ready to come down. Very precarious. You can see the algae on the rock indicates that most of the time this is underwater, and that tidal action is just beating the hell out of this portion. They're gonna need to do something here, if anything's even possible. I don't know if anything's possible. Exposed roots. You can even see a fair amount of vegetation, and that's not even really helping much. Never fails. You have this kind of view. This is your view, and they're both staring at their phones. Amazing. Put the phones down. My God. What did people do before these phones? What did they do? Did they actually have to communicate with one another? Heaven forbid actually talk to each other. Wow. All right, this is very, very coarse abrasive sand, so between the sand and then the rocks, walking south from our location has been a bit more challenging than walking north. Walking north has been much easier, and I've been able to cover more ground more easily, and there's less issue of the tides walking north. Walking south, you really have to pay attention to low tide because you will get cut off. Well, that's a nice view up there. Very pretty fossilized coral. Oh, someone lost their sunglasses. And then right around this corner would be Praia de Tabatinga, and then around that corner would be Praia de Tabatinga número 2. Hola, neblados, muito obrigado. Oh wow, very nice. one of the many reasons I love the state of Paraíba is the coastal geography and geology. You just don't see these types of coastal landforms in Rio Grande do Norte, and you do here. There's a lot of variety. Rio Grande do Norte just seems to be a giant pile of sand, which is fine. I like sand, but the variety really... Is that a person out there? No. Okay. But seeing these cliffs really is a treat. Very dense residences, more posadas and hotels. Very dense that way. You wouldn't know it by looking from the shore, but there's a number of restaurants and bars. More posadas and hotels. But nice stretch of beach. We're not going to walk too much further. I can't because the tide is my enemy at this point. I got to be careful. All right, probably just some B-roll footage to end this on as I crop and zoom. Oh, this guy's ready for business over there. A little better view of those cliffs, which are disintegrating pretty quickly. And actually you can make out where we're staying pretty much straight ahead. I'll have to crop in on it. That's our place. Many time lapses set up there on that balcony. All right, almost. All right, just like that, we're back. Yeah, 2 miles exactly. We're gonna hit the Mercadinho for some more water and Guaraná. Well, wow, that's a big building. Yeah, the construction boom, the construction growth here. I see it every big city and small village in Paraíba just continues to grow very, very quickly. It's not sustainable, and it's certainly going to change the lives of the locals here drastically. I don't know what the letter T indicates. It must be... I'm not familiar with it. Terra Sol. Looks like very similar styles. I did see a number of other Airbnbs in the same unit that we have. Alright. Let's go to the market. Alright, so here's Pizza Safari. I placed an order online at 6:40. They said it would be ready at 7 o'clock in 20 minutes. We didn't leave here until 10 after 7. It took over an hour and 20 minutes to get our food here when we placed it online. There was no apology. There was no water, provided for us. We sat there and waited. And then they couldn't even complete the entire order because they were out of fish. Needless to say, I will not be going to Safari Pizza anymore. It was a bad customer service experience. Oh, look. He invited a friend for breakfast this morning. Today, we'll be having trash again. Welcome, friend.